Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling a high-stakes challenge that can literally make or break your final grade. If you're preparing for the Cambridge Computer Science 9618 Paper 2 exam, you already know it demands incredibly rigorous logical thinking. But there's one specific area that consistently trips up even the brightest students: database indexing. It's like being a professional photographer. You can have the most expensive camera in the world, but if you don't know how to find the perfect angle and frame your subject, you're just taking snapshots. Today, we're going to decode exactly what examiners are looking for, help you find that perfect angle, and frame your answers to highlight the exact key evidence they want to see. Let's transform how you approach these incredibly complex questions. Now, you might be sitting there wondering, why on earth are we dedicating an entire explainer solely to database indexing? Well, the answer is the number 15. This single, highly technical topic accounts for approximately 15% of the total marks in your Paper 2 exam. I really want you to stop and think about that for a second. 15%, that is an absolutely massive chunk of your overall score. It is the literal difference between dropping a letter grade or securing that A star. It's definitely not just a minor throwaway footnote in the back of the syllabus. It is a foundational pillar. The examiners use this specific topic to relentlessly test your computational thinking, your logic, and your ability to optimize systems under pressure. When you carve a 15% slice out of your total marks, it absolutely sets the stage. You simply cannot afford to leave these points sitting on the table. But listen, here is the genuinely good news. Because this topic is so heavily weighted, Cambridge provides very clear, very structured frameworks for how they assess it. They really aren't trying to trick you, I promise. They are looking for highly specific evidence of algorithmic thinking and analytical depth. Just like a photographer follows the rule of thirds to guarantee a compelling image, there are rules you can follow to guarantee top marks. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and reveal exactly what that evidence looks like, step by step. Here is our masterclass agenda for today. We will cover 1. The 15% challenge. 2. Core principles. 3. The procedural blueprint. 4. Top examiner warnings. And finally, the ultimate evaluation. Section 1. The 15% challenge. Stakes and foundations. Let's get right into it. Why do students famously struggle with evaluating algorithmic efficiency within database indexing? Well, it comes down to a fundamental misunderstanding of the assessment objectives. Let's talk about two classic student archetypes. First, we have Alex. Alex approaches the exam with superficial breadth. When asked a question, Alex overloads the page with raw computer science facts, writing a massive paragraph about what a B tree is, hoping something, anything, sticks. But there's zero analysis. Then we have Sam. Sam rushes through the paper completely missing the command word requirements. If the question says evaluate, Sam just describes. Both of these approaches lead to papers covered in red pen marks. Examiners see right through the brain dump strategy. The academic benchmarks prioritize analytical depth. They want structured reasoning that demonstrates exactly how an index impacts database efficiency in the given scenario. Before we continue, subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now. Section 2. Core Principles. Mastering Fundamentals. To achieve that analytical depth we just talked about, top-performing students don't just memorize definitions, they build a deeply connected conceptual understanding. Look at the progression of the Cambridge syllabuses. Whether you started with 0417, 0478, 0983, 0984, or 2210, you were building a foundation. But now, at the 9618 level, the syllabus explicitly requires your knowledge to be transferable to completely unfamiliar contexts. You need to understand the why behind the what. Cambridge is absolutely notorious for throwing curveballs. They are going to present completely novel database scenarios in the exam room. If your knowledge is rigidly tied to the exact textbook examples you studied, you're going to freeze up. But if you understand the core principles of systematic analysis, you can seamlessly adapt it to any scenario they throw your way. You have to frame your knowledge perfectly to fit the new context. Section 3. The procedural blueprint. Technical methodology. So how do we systematically apply those principles under intense exam pressure? Well, algorithmic thinking requires step-by-step decomposition. The examiners themselves literally have a standardized sequence for how they expect you to process complex indexing problems. Here is that critical 5-step standardized sequence. Step 1. Deconstruct the question. This is where Sam always messes up by rushing. You must decode the command words. Step 2. Extract the relevant data from the scenario. Step 3. Select the appropriate analytical framework. Step 4. Execute the analysis with clear, standard notation. And step 5, verify the results and present them using the correct terminology. This is where we introduce the PEEL framework: point, evidence, explanation, link. Every paragraph you write should make a point, back it up with evidence from the scenario, provide an explanation of the computer science principle, and link it back to the question. If you skip any of these steps, you are just throwing away easy marks. And that leads us directly to a concept you absolutely must understand if you want to succeed: the method marks strategy. In Cambridge exams, marks are frequently awarded for the logical process and your working out. This acts as a massive safety net. Think about it. Executing your answer with clear notation and showing your step-by-step decomposition is honestly just as important as getting the final answer perfectly correct. This is how you transform those red pen marks into green check marks. If you make a minor, silly arithmetic error under pressure, but your underlying algorithmic logic is flawless and clearly documented on the page, the method mark strategy ensures you still pick up the vast majority of the points. Your working out is the evidence of your thought process. To make this entire process even easier to remember in the absolute heat of the exam, we can simplify this problem-solving workflow into a fundamental triad: deconstruct, solve, evaluate. First, you identify the given information and break it down into manageable logical steps. Then you solve it systematically, applying your frameworks. Finally, and crucially, you check for reasonableness and evaluate your solution against the constraints of the prompt. This triad is the heartbeat of algorithmic problem solving. It also ties directly into a time management matrix. Knowing how long to spend deconstructing versus solving is what keeps you from running out of time. Stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGSC to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2 to 3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to acetheexams_IGSC and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions. Section 4. Top examiner warnings from the principal reports. Honestly, guys, these principal examiner reports are absolute gold mines. It's where the exact people grading your papers vent about the mistakes students make year after year. Let's look at the top 3 traps you have to avoid. First, the classic mistake: using the wrong formula or algorithm for the context provided. Second, forgetting to check boundary conditions and edge cases. In database indexing, if you aren't testing the extreme limits of your data structures, your algorithm simply isn't robust, and examiners will ruthlessly penalize you. And third, providing answers that are not specific to the context given in the question. Imagine we're doing a data scan challenge right now. If I gave you a complex database chart and 60 seconds to extract the core trend, could you do it? And more importantly, could you explain that trend without just reciting a textbook? That third mistake, the lack of context, is absolutely fatal. Let's play Find the Flaw for a second. Imagine an answer that perfectly defines a hash table index. It's beautifully written, grammatically flawless, and factually 100% correct. But guess what? It earns 0 marks. Why? Because the prompt asked about a real-time flight booking database, and the answer never once mentioned flights, bookings, or real-time latency. This is the generic textbook answer versus context-specific analysis. You must provide evidence-based reasoning that examiners can actively reward. You aren't just reciting facts like Alex, you are diagnosing the exact specific problem right in front of you, finding that perfect angle to frame your expertise. If you are taking notes right now, I want you to write this down and put a massive star next to it. The ultimate examiner alert is this: never ever leave a point hanging without tying it directly back to the question's specific context. Always link every point to the given scenario. This is the L in our PEEL framework. If the question is about a hospital's patient database, your answer must explicitly reference patient records, lookup speeds for medical IDs, and emergency access constraints. Context is king. If we were doing a 30-second speed writing challenge right now, your one perfect paragraph would have to start with a concept and end with the hospital. That's how you lock in the marks. Section 5. The ultimate evaluation: securing highest marks. To separate the good grades from the absolute top-tier A-star results, you must satisfy higher-order assessment objectives. This requires significantly more than just solving the math of the problem. It demands critical evaluation. Top-scoring candidates do 4 specific things to secure those highest marks. First, they consider multiple solutions or alternatives before settling on one. Second, they rigorously analyze the trade-offs. For instance, acknowledging that while adding a secondary index speeds up read times tremendously, it directly slows down write times and consumes more storage. Third, they acknowledge the inherent limitations of their chosen approach. And finally, crucially, they make justified recommendations backed by solid, irrefutable evidence extracted from the prompt. They frame the shot perfectly. A massive part of providing that irrefutable evidence comes down to rigorous testing and highly precise data interpretation. You need to be completely comfortable extracting raw data from binary representations, performing accurate efficiency calculations on the fly, and drawing evidence-based conclusions from the numbers you generate. That is the analytical depth the examiners are desperately searching for. It all comes back to our cheat sheet system: command word decoding, applying the Peel framework, and using the time management matrix to give yourself enough time to actually do the math. Students who implement these computer science strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos. We have covered a truly tremendous amount of ground today, from the massive 15% weight of the indexing topic to the procedural blueprint, the Peel framework, and the major traps to avoid. But I want to leave you with this provocative final thought to reflect on before your next study session. Are your exam answers generic textbook regurgitations, or are they perfectly built and framed for the specific context of the question? Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now at acetheexams_IGCSE and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Drop a comment below with your target grade for computer science and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams. Your Cambridge success starts here.